Today I am celebrating Enix's huge catalog of games with a couple videos. You've probably seen them, or maybe just skip into this one. Either way, it is their 4th anniversary, so I'm looking at some of their games. For this last video, I'll be looking at the top 5 fan-patched RPGs, all of which are on the Super Nintendo, so let's just get right to it. Let's begin with Burning Heroes. Now, this is a pretty cool game because you start off by being able to choose a couple different characters. You go through their story, you do the normal RPG thing, do some battles, and progress the story. Now, I think it's pretty cool. The visuals are awesome. I think the turn-based combat is, you know, standard, but pretty cool. I just like that RPGs that give you this, this open branch at the beginning for you to choose your path and then, you know, have recurring things happen later on and stuff like that. And of course, you unlock new people to go into as well. It's kind of diverse for a Super Nintendo game, and I applaud it for that. And all that nonsense aside, it's just a good RPG. Hard one, so be prepared for that, but it's still good. Next, we have Dark Half, which is like the most recent fan-patched RPG as of this year. That's right, probably a lot of you have already played it this year, maybe saw some posts on it, but yeah, this game is pretty cool. You start off as this hero, and you go into this cave, and you fight some monsters, and then your brother, I believe, he runs away back to the village, and you see this big huge void opening, and you basically unleash this Dark Emperor, and then you become the Dark Emperor, and all your minions are like, hey, we're gonna help you destroy the world, here's some monsters for you to basically have as your party members. And then it's kind of set up like a tactical grid board system, but it's a turn-based RPG, actually more along the lines of like Mario RPG. But yeah, it's a cool concept being a bad guy in a video game. I know, very novel of course, there's been a lot of games like that, but still pretty cool. I'm so happy that, you know, fans have been dedicated for this project for so long that it actually got released. And you can play it now, of course, and it's a really cool game. I really dig it. Next, Just Breed, which I take it back, this game is on the NES, so these aren't all Super Nintendo games. Anyway, Just Breed is a tactical RPG, very reminiscent of people who probably played something along the lines of Fire Emblem, except that you just do the battles on the map and you don't go into like a special subscreen where you get to see the battles play out. You just command your party, fight mushrooms and other types of monsters, and just progress the story. It's kind of a cool RPG, and it plays really well for an NES game. And it's not too hard, which I found a lot of those, again, Fire Emblem games really difficult. But I think the gameplay is there, and it seems very advanced for a Nintendo game. So, kudos to that. Geote Senki is next, and is another tactical RPG where it seems that you're manifesting these heroes from this basin. I'm not really quite sure what the story is, but essentially it is kind of an RTS element where you can spawn these players from these depths and then you send them out to do your bidding. There's so many choices for you to make for your soldiers. You send them out, that has a kind of a cool little battle animation, and then that's that. I think the visuals are pretty neat for this type of game. The controls for moving around is a little weird. It's kind of hard to get used to, but it is a very cool RPG, and it's cool that it did get a translation, and I gotta dig into it a little bit deeper, but it's very cool, to say the least, which is what I say for most of these videos. But yeah, it's definitely worth a shot. Last on the list is Mystic Arc, and it is another game that is kind of obscure and plays obscurity right in the front. You're this warrior, you're transformed into this wooden candle, you break free, and you're basically trapped. I kid you not, I must have been trapped in this room for at least like 30 minutes. I mean, the game just starts you off like very fast, but I'm looking around, you're trying to like find your way out of this room, and then you get these clues from the objects that you find out that you gotta talk to this painting, and then you go inside the ship. So essentially you have these adventures, Narnia style, where you go into these things in this kind of sanctuary, and then you have adventures and you learn more about the world and why you transform and what's happening with all this stuff. And it's kind of cool because it is a female protagonist in the beginning here, and not a lot of games have that, even today, but it's very cool to have that centralized on a female character, especially as I end this Japanese-centric whole series. But yeah, it's a neat little JRPG, and I'm glad it's got a translation, and it's very kind of obscure and hard, but I will battle my way through it, but I'm liking what I've seen so far. And that's the end of my The Best of Enix series. Now there's just 15 games that probably a lot of people not have heard of. Of course, a lot of them came from Japan and they're only released in Japan. Of course, some of them have been translated, a lot haven't, and there's so much more. There's a lot of games I haven't got to. Of course, next year is Dragon Quest's anniversary, so I'll be going more into that. Star Ocean is celebrating soon, so I'll get into that because people might have been saying, where's Star Ocean? That's an awesome game too. But if you miss a game that's super huge, chances are I'm probably doing another video. But I want to show these 15 games some love. So, did I miss anything? What are your favorites? Do you like the ones that I showed? I don't know. Either way, Enix, I wish you a very fond 40th. I should say Square Enix, but Enix especially. You know who you guys are. Boom, ba-chak, boom, boom, ba-chak.